Welcome to this week's episode of the Talk News TV or Politics Today with your host Herman Tiu Laurel or Kamentong. We could talk about the spectacular and burning headlines this week. Lacson's return, that affects mainly Senator Lacson. We could talk about the three Filipinos waiting their turn at the last row, ika nga, ano? But that affects three individuals. And a lot of people emotionally, yes, maybe, but it's basically three individuals and three families. We chose instead to talk about issues that will, or in particular in this case, issues in Mindanao and in Luzon, and maybe even the Visayas. They're all interconnected. That will affect almost the entire nation. In fact, yes, it is. We're not going to talk about the Luzon grid alone. We're talking about Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. And this is, again, water and power. And our title tonight, for this episode, is Hydroelectric Swindle again. In particular, subtitle, a longer one, Angat, Agus Pulangi Privatization, question mark. Because we have had privatization for the past 15 years at an accelerated rate in the past 10 years. And the question is, has it been good for you and me and the 90 million Filipinos? And this issue has been buried in the inside pages. I don't know even if the newspapers have reported on this past week. Maybe not. I got an email from the Freedom from Debt Coalition stating their position on the privatization against the privatization of the Angat hydroelectric power plant. And indeed, there are very many questions about this because it is not just power or electricity. It is about prioritization of consumer water and irrigation and power, which one of the privatized electric industry components, the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, wants to prioritize their concern, which is stabilization of power or power stability. What if there is power stability, but in exchange you have to deprive consumers of water because you want to prioritize power? And worst of all, apparently, the privatization of Angat is going to go to, at the present rate it's going, to a foreign company. With us to discuss all these, including updates on power with the Energy Regulatory Commission, these power issues, are, I'll go by seniority, of course, Mr. Bochunya, our regular guest when it comes to power and electricity, columnist, consumer columnist for the opinionated weekly newspaper, and from the Freedom from Debt Coalition, the media and communications officer of FDC, Mr. Bobby Diciembre, who's also been with us twice or thrice before, yes, to discuss this. We will begin with the issue of the privatization of Angat. So we'll first ask Bobby here to give us a background behind this new position paper that you issued.
Kamakailan lang po, nag-submit po kami ng aming plea ulit sa Supreme Court para ulitin ang aming posisyon laban sa pagsasapribado ng Angat Dam. No? Alam po natin na ang Angat Dam ay isang multipurpose dam na may apat na tungkulin.
Ito yung nandito sa Bulacan.
Yan po yung Nazor sa Garay, Bulacan. Meron po itong hydropower, nagsusupply ng domestic water supply. Siya rin po yung source ng irrigation ng 31,000 hectares sa Pampanga and Bulacan. At siya rin po isang flood control.
Okay, Pampanga, we are on free TV in Pampanga, so maraming makakapanood.
Mga kabalin.
And since mga kabalin, taga roon ka ba?
Opo. Mexico, okay. Pampanga.
Greet your in your kabalin para matuto ako ng konti.
Pasensya na.
Sige na.
Hindi po ako ganun karunong.
Okay, sige. Back to the power issue na yung ano, yung hydro issue.
Also, nito pong balikan natin yung background. This April 2010, last year na yun, prior to the national elections, sinagawa po yung bidding ng Angat Dam. Ang Angat Dam po ay may 246 megawatts capacity.
Ilang mga taong apektado dito? Pampanga and Bulacan,
And
mga magbubukid dyan at mga Metro Manila water consumers.
Opo,
Kasama
kasi
tayo dyan.
97% ng pangangailangan ng mahigit 12 milyong residente ng Metro Manila, diyan po nang gagaling sa Angat Dam. So, tinutulan po natin yan sa napakaraming grounds. Pero balikan natin ulit, ang Angat Dam po ay hindi lamang po pag-aari ng National Power Corporation. Ito po, ang may karapatan din dito ay yung NIA o yung National Irrigation Authority at ang MWSS. So makikita po natin na yung tatlong pangunahing trabaho ng Angat Dam ay siya rin pong mga ahensya yung may water right dito sa paggamit ng tubig dito sa dam. So, kamakailan, nag-submit kami dahil nanghingi na yung Supreme Court ng aming memorandum, final, I assume na ito na yung magiging basehan nila para magsagawa ng desisyon kung itutuloy nga ba, pipigilan o anuman ang kahinatnan ng pagsasapribado ng Angat Dam. So
affecting 12 million people of Metro Manila and plus how many millions in Pampanga and Bulacan, no? Pati drinking water dyan din siguro, presumably galing.
So yes, so pati irrigation, so we're talking about 31 hectares, pati food security,
hectares, no?
Food security rin yung issue. Ayan.
Okay. Well, you're talking about last year. Ito, role of Angat, this is the other one. Corona stops Angat privatization. This was last year. Chief Justice Renato Corona yesterday stopped the privatization of the Angat Hydroelectric plant to a Korean company, allegedly for lack of transparency in bidding. So this is the first issue.
Yes.
That even the Supreme Court had to step in. Ano ba ito?
Ang background po niyan, we filed the petition May 19, 2010. So ilang araw pa lang natatapos ang May 11 elections. And Chief Justice Corona issued a status quo ante order May 24. So 5 days after we filed the petition, the newly installed Chief Justice issued an ante-order. Ibig sabihin, tigil muna yung privatization, mananatili yung ante. Kumbaga yung previous.
Status,
yung previous na status niyan. No? So hindi pa siya privatized. So nag-file ang PISAM, yung Power Sector Assets and Liabilities Management Corporation, na siyang nakatalaga mag-privatize itong mga pag-aari ng gobyerno, ng plea para i-lift yung restriction sa Supreme Court. Later on, the Supreme Court denied yung plea nila. And then, October 2010, pinag-submit ang mga parties ng aming consolidated reply, and we submitted that. And then, just last week, yung deadline naman for the memorandum. So,
yeah, but please elaborate if you can dito sa question. And by the way, Butchunya can step in with questions also.
Sige lang.
So, itong sinasabi na lack of transparency, hanggang ngayon ba problema ito? Hindi ba ang sabi lagi we are a democracy and transparency, freedom of information, number one yan, ano? Especially since this concerns us consumers ng kuryente at saka tubig. Ano pang pwedeng itago sa atin, di ba?
Yan po ang masakit dahil nagka-clash po yung mga arguments ng PISAM regarding sa privatization nitong Angat. Yung issue na ni-raise namin dito, unang-una po yung right to information. Pangalawa, yung right to water at saka yung constitutional question.
Yung foreign and local ownership.
100% foreign ownership ng ating vital resource like water, no? So, una po doon sa right to information na kinwestiyon natin, kung papansinin po ninyo yung inilabas na announcement ng PISAM sa privatization ng Angat, very minimal yung information na inilabas nila, like yung mga requirements lang ng mga bidders. Pero
Kwento mo, nung nagtatanong kayo nung mga impormasyon, humihingi kayo, anong hinihingi naman
Opo.
sa inyo?
Sumulat kami sa kanila na baka pwedeng bigyan kami dahil kami mga petitioner na mga maapektuhan dahil may public interest dito sa ibebenta nila, yung napakaraming information, terms and conditions ng disposition, ano yung, anong klase, yung parties qualified to bid, and the minimum price among others. So pinagtatanong po namin yung mga yan. Unfortunately, PISAM, sumagot po doon sa Ideals, yung grupong Ideals na kasama naming petitioner, at tininay po yung aming request. At hinihinga nila kami na wala naman kayong letter of intent na part ng requirement, hindi naman kayo nagbayad ng $2,500.
Well, yung pagbabayad ng fee for documents are for bidders.
For bidders yan.
Kasi nga, may interest sila dahil sila ay pwedeng makinabang dyan, nakikisali sila sa pag-bidding, no? Subasta ba yan? Ano sa Tagalog niya? Tayo, consumers and NGOs, we have no financial or pecuniary interest yan except public interest or public concern. Bakit sisingilin?
In fact, ang binabayaran mo dyan is actually the bid documents.
Oo nga, oo.
Bid documents. Parang binibili mo yung bid documents. Pero kung humihingi ka ng clarification on some aspects of the process itself or the bidding itself, I don't think na mayroon silang basis to require from you na magbayad or to treat you like a bidder.
Precisely.
Interest kayo, but iba ang interest nyo. Not the commercial aspect of the bidding. Did you push it yung kapartner nyo na grupo? Did you push it with PISAM? And anong naging sagot nila sa inyo?
Yung nga po, sinulatan natin sila, talagang hinihingan tayo na ng mga requirements na nabanggit kanina at sinasabing only bidders can access yung ganong klaseng information. Marami siyang violate na law sa aming pananaw na unang-una dahil matter of public interest.
Right, yeah.
Tapos nakalagay mismo sa APIRA na ang kailangan open and transparent yung pagbibid nitong mga generation plants. Nasaan yung open at saka yung transparency? Yung openness at transparency dun sa pagbibid ng Angat Dam.
Pero hindi ba, nung finalo up ninyo yan and they persisted in their position na hindi nila mabibigay sa inyo yung information, doesn't that give rise to a criminal liability of public officials
on their part
under the general laws on accountability? Hindi ba parang it's either denying you the information or giving a due advantage to some of the parties?
Yes.
So, parang ganon?
In our petition, we cited the violation of Article 3.
You went to the Supreme Court ba kagad?
Yes.
So kaya nga kaya pinigil ng Supreme Court.
Kaya pinigil. So marami siyang violate doon. Article 3 Section 7, Article 2 Section 28 of the 1987 Constitution, and jurisprudence relating to the right to information on matters of public concern and the policy of full public disclosure of all government transaction involving public interest. So hindi po siya open and transparent at saka yun po, napakarami pong maapektuhan dito at kung nangyari yan sa Angat, maaaring mangyari yan sa Agus and Pulangi na isa pang usapin naman sa Mindanao.
Okay, mamaya we'll go to Agus Pulangi. Let's again, to summarize, Angat is essential to 97% of the water needs of Metro Manila and surrounding provinces. No? There is the question of transparency, which clearly has not been provided by PISALM. And we have the Supreme Court stopping the PISALM from privatizing it. And so what's the status today mismo?
Right now, pigil. So hindi pa siya formally na turnover sa winning bidder.
But Bobby, have you been able to obtain yung substantive or substantial information na sufficient for you to make judgment on those aspects of the bid? Kasi yung tungkol sa access to information, it's more procedural and the process, no? But on the substantive aspects of it, the substantial aspects, have you been able to obtain information na naging basis nyo for objecting?
One substantive issue is the ownership of the company, yung K-Water.
Yes.
It's really 100% Korean.
Yes.
That's a substantive issue. Ano pang ibang substantive
Ang
issue?
maganda po, ang matindi po diyan, sinulatan din natin ang PISAM tungkol doon sa sino po ba yung K-Water. Ano po ba yung...
So, sumagot sila doon.
Sumagot sila at ni-refer nila kami doon sa K-Water.
Okay,
so yun, malinaw na malinaw.
PISAM is a government agency that is responsible.
Yes.
Bakit ituturo kayo dun sa
Yun
private
nga-
company?
Yun
di ba?
nga po yung
Pero in any
nakakabahala.
Kasi in any case, sumagot sa inyo yung K-Water.
Hindi po.
So
Lumalabas
hindi kayo
na lang
sinagot ng K-Water?
Hindi na po namin pinersu yung sa K-Water in the first place. PISAM dapat yung mag-explain sa amin. Sino ba itong K-Water na to? So nung nalaman at lumabas na rin sa payagan na 100% fully owned by the Korean government yung nanalong bidder sa Angat Dam, lalo po kaming nabahala. So in full violation po ito, contravention ng Article 12, Section 2 of the 1987 Constitution and the Water Code of the Philippines and EPIRA itself. So malaki pong violation itong naganap. Bukod pa doon, kanina po binanggit ko na hindi lang NPC, National Power Corporation, ang nagmamay-ari or may water right doon sa tubig sa Angat Dam. Nandiyan ang NIA, yung Irrigation Authority, nandiyan ang MWSS. So, bakit niya ibebenta, including the non-power component, yung the reservoir, etc., and the water, unilaterally. Hindi lang naman siya ang may-ari.
You're referring to PISAM, no?
Yes. So, dapat, yung gumawa siya ng ingenious mode na pag-transfer ng power generation asset, maaaring upang sumunod siya sa batas ng EPIRA, maaaring in-offer niya muna to sa MWSS or sa NIA. Kasi ito yung dalawa na may pag-aari din or may karapatan doon sa tubig ng Angat Dam.
Pero nakita nyo na ba yung nakita nyo ba yung terms of reference or nakita nyo ba eksakto yung kontrata na nagsasabi that hindi lang yung power plant yung pina-privatize, but as you were saying, pati yung tubig, pati yung lupa kung nasaan yung tubig, in fact, maybe pati yung mga watershed niya, kasama ba yon sa kontrata nila? And nakita nyo na ba yung kontrata na yon?
Nakalagay yan doon sa power purchase, yung purchase agreement, no? Yan ang ikinakatakot natin kasi yung safeguard natin on water security, water right. Lumalabas, wala pang signed water protocol. Very important yung signed water protocol kasi yung dating water protocol, ang priority niyan is domestic use, yung lumalabas sa ating mga gripo na iniinom natin. Pangalawa niyan is irrigation. And last na yung power generation. Kapag ka na-satisfy yung unang dalawa, saka pa lang po pwedeng pagganahin yung water component. Pero dahil walang signed water protocol, yung mananalong buyer, may karapatan na ngayon siya doon sa non-power component ng Angat Dam Complex.
Yes. Well, we're going to our break in 30 seconds, but this makes me recall yung problema ng Ondoy. Yung kontrobersya kung kailan magre-release ng tubig, kung bubuksan, and anong mauuna, yung interest ng pribadong operator o yung interest ng publiko. Sa atin, of course, interest ng publiko. Pero doon sa
obviously at that time it was going to work as the flood control mechanism.
Precisely. But yung nang ibabaw o nag-alanganin between public interest and private interest. So we'll go back to that because even the Fukushima reactor in Japan, yan ang naging dilema at nagiging kontrobersya ngayon kahit sa Japan mismo. Okay, let's take our break and we'll be back.
Yung